Customer ordered an oven, but she received a cutting board and she thought it was a practical joke. In this video, I've put together 6 mock calls representing 6 different scenarios with explanations. Let's begin. Scenario number 1.
And did you register your account or did you sign up as a guest?
I signed up as a guest. I don't have time for it. My employer passed away and I had to stay in the hospital for a few days, so I haven't had the time to create my account.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. My condolences.
Thank you.
Would you like me to create an account for you or do you prefer to log in as a guest?
Yes, please. That would be a great idea. That would make things easier for me.
All right, as you heard, the agent only said, "I'm so sorry to hear that. My condolences." And then they moved on from there. Let me tell you why. There's a reason why "I understand, I'm so sorry to hear that" are considered cliche, because most of the time they work and they're enough. When a customer mentions an unfortunate event, you want to start with these default responses. They are unobtrusive and unassuming. They are great initial responses when you're still in the process of gauging the customer's reaction to that unfortunate event. Some people just don't want to discuss their emotions with strangers. They might happen to casually mention it in passing, but they don't want to dwell on it with a stranger. And the customer's response was just, "Thank you." She didn't volunteer more information. So it was a cue for the agent to just move on to the subject at hand, which was creating her account. And some of you might say these responses are just too phony and generic to be taken seriously by the customer. But the thing is, there's also a risk of over-personalizing your message before you even understand how the customer feels about the situation. What if she just really want to mention it in passing and you're already going over the top with your empathy statement? That would make for an awkward conversation when you're just more upset than the customer. My point is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But what if the customer, instead of just moving on from the subject, volunteers more information, says more than "thank you"? Then that is your cue to amp up your empathy statement. Let's listen to this mock call.
And did you register your account or did you sign up as a guest?
I signed up as a guest. I don't have time for it. My employer passed away and I had to stay in the hospital for a few days, so I haven't had the time to create my account.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. My condolences.
Thank you. It was such an ordeal for him. 83 years old he was. He got cancer. No kids, no relatives, and I was the only one with him the entire time.
I can only imagine how tough that must be.
Oh, you have no idea. There was something about it that was just beyond sad, you know?
Yes.
To see someone dying without a family to take care of him, I'm telling you, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemies.
I think anyone can relate, really. I'm not looking forward to getting old myself. And cancer is such a horrible, horrible disease. And I hope you're taking care of yourself right now.
Thank you. You're so kind. I will be seeing my family this weekend, so that should help a lot.
You do that. That's a really good idea. We all need people in our lives.
I definitely will.
And if you want, I can create an account for you so you don't have to fill out the form. Would you prefer that?
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Thank you, honey. It's just been so hard this week.
Of course. No problem at all. I'm here to help.
Okay, so as you heard, instead of just saying "thank you," the customer said more. She said, "Thank you. It was such an ordeal for him. 83 years old he was. He got cancer, no kids." So this is a sure sign that the customer wants a listening ear because she's volunteering more information about it. So as you heard, she said, I'm really sorry to hear that. I can only imagine how tough that must be." That is definitely generic. And most of the time, that would suffice. That is like an invitation for the customer to go on, say more, "I'm listening." You definitely don't have to come up with something unique. There is a misconception that we have to say something unique in order to empathize. In this stage of the conversation, the agent is still inviting the customer to say more. She doesn't know anything yet about it. There's just very little information to go by. You want to invite her to share more and unload her feelings, and then you can go from there. You can personalize your responses from there. And so when the agent heard that, she realized that the customer is super upset about it. And so she personalized her response based on the customer's statement. So she said, I think anyone can relate, really. To be honest, I'm not really looking forward to getting old myself. So that is a personalized empathy statement. It is the agent revealing a certain piece of information that is personal to her, saying, I'm not looking forward to getting old myself. And then she proceeded by saying, and I hope you're taking care of yourself right now. So again, she's putting the attention, the focus back to the customer. It's just a series of acknowledging what the customer feels. Again, the customer volunteered another information. I'll be seeing my friends and families this weekend, so that should help a lot. And then the agent said, oh, yes, please, you do that. That's a really good idea. We all need people in our lives. So she's just really affirming what the customer is saying. When you're empathizing, that's basically what you do. You gauge the customer's feelings about a situation, and then you affirm her feelings and lend a listening ear. And then there will come a point in the conversation where the customer has pretty much unloaded most of her negative feelings. So she just said, I definitely will. Notice that she didn't volunteer more information about it. She just said, I definitely will. Thank you. So this is a sign for the agent to proceed to the subject at hand, which is about creating the account. So she grabbed that opportunity. They're back at it, but she took the time to let the customer unload her feelings. And if you want to see a mock call where the customer is highly upset, crying, I have a full mock call about that. It's about a healthcare account where the customer's husband died recently and she doesn't have any money to pay out of pocket for her medical supplies. So I'm going to link it up here if you want. So scenario number 3, when the customer is happy.
Hi, I was browsing your store this morning, and I'm shopping for baby dresses. We just found out that we're having a baby girl, and I'm so happy about that.
Oh, congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you. So we did buy some gender neutral colors, but now that we're sure it's a baby girl, I thought, pink. I need lots of pink. So where can I find that?
You are just in time. You know, we have an entire catalog launched just this morning for baby girls with pink palettes. Want me to send you the link?
Hell yes, please. Send it to me. I'm dying to see it.
The agent didn't really say anything unique. If you notice, she just amped up the enthusiasm in her voice. She just made sure that there's warmth in her voice, that she's happy in behalf of the customer, and that's exactly what she did. And she didn't say anything about the pregnancy. She just said congratulations, which is a very generic response. But if you listen to her voice, you can see that she's super excited for the customer. And most of the time, that's enough. But then if you think that's insufficient, the customer is just so super excited, and then she's disclosing information about the pregnancy that you're not even asking about, then that is your cue to amp up your empathy statements. So for example, you can try to recall stories about happy pregnancies in your life. Maybe you've been pregnant or your wife is pregnant. You can share stories about it where you're excited. You want to mirror the customer's feelings. That's wonderful. I can still remember when I was pregnant with my daughter, I was so excited I could barely contain my emotion. I know exactly what you're feeling right now. Congratulations. Things like that. If you're a father, you can say, that's wonderful. I can still remember when my wife was finally pregnant with our daughter. So now we get to the harder scenarios. Number 4 is no resolution, but customer is in the wrong and verbally abusive. Let's listen.
I'm so sick of your company. All the inconveniences, all the mishaps, the incompetence that you've been causing me since I've been a member.
This is frustrating for you, I understand. Initially, we give a one-time exception for missed bills, and this we gave you last March 2018. Because this is a second occurrence, we will be imposing the penalty.
No. Don't bullshit me with I understand. Of course you don't understand. How could you? You're white. I'm an immigrant. You just work there. You're paid to read off a script, and then you leave and you forget about everything. How could you possibly understand a poor woman like me? Are you in my situation? Huh? Are you a single mother? Are you jobless? Well, guess what? You are none of those things. I bet you have a man taking care of you. I'm alone. How can you possibly not understand how unfair your company's treating me right now? Because you don't understand me. You're not in my situation, so don't even pretend to understand.
Emma, we understand that mistakes happen. Bills could be left unpaid for some time. Deadlines could be missed. That's why we gave you a one-time exception. But since this is a second occurrence, and this is something I've consulted with the management just now when I put you on hold, we believe it's fair to charge a penalty this time. And this is the final decision of the management.
So, you are not going to help me. Is that what you're saying?
I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but this time we cannot, because you have reached the limit of our exception as per our policy.
I want to talk to your manager. Give me your manager.
I'm the manager. Sophie transferred you to me.
No. I want someone higher up. I am done talking to you. I don't care about you. You're an uncaring bitch.
I'm going to have to warn you against profanities. I'm the highest contact you can talk to in this office, but I can give you the email of our CEO.
He doesn't take phone calls. Your CEO doesn't take phone calls.
He doesn't take phone calls, but he communicates to customers via email.
You, you're a cunt.
Emma, due to profanities, I can no longer continue this conversation. I have explained our position and a decision is final. If you have more questions in future, feel free to call us back. Thank you for calling Kwestyon. Bye.
In situations where the customer is totally wrong and on top of that verbally abusive, acknowledge the customer's emotions but not her manipulations. Acknowledge that this must be hard for her. We understand this is hard for you, but then go back to your main point, which is we cannot do anything for you anymore. For example, the customer said here, you're not a single mother. You're not jobless. You're none of those things. Taking it personally, the agent would say, no, you have no idea about my life. I am a single mother, but I'm not complaining. So that would be taking it personally. But the agent said none of those things. And then she used this voice that's very unemotional, but still professional. When you use that voice, you're not yielding to the customer's unreasonable request. You're saying, this is the policy, and there's nothing you can do about it, but in a professional tone. Here, the agent is just basically saying one thing and one thing only, and she's just paraphrasing it throughout the conversation until the customer understands there's nothing she can do about it. And then eventually she ended the call. All right, so the next scenario is there's still no resolution. The customer is still in the wrong, but she is relatively calmer than the previous customer. Let's listen.
I'm so sick of your company. All the inconveniences, all the mishaps, the incompetence that you've been causing me since I've been a member.
This is frustrating for you, I understand. Initially, we give a one-time exception for missed bills, and this we gave you last March 2018. Because this is a second occurrence, we will be imposing the penalty.
Yeah, you already told me that. I just feel like you ought to do something more for your longtime customers than just a one-time exception. I mean, you can do better than that. That's a ridiculously insubstantial offer for years and years of me paying my bills on time. Don't you think I deserve better than just a one-time exception? Like maybe one exception every 3 years that I'm with you? That'd be reasonable, don't you think?
I see your point. You have been with us for 10 years now.
Exactly.
And this is something that I brought up with the management today when I put you on hold. As it turns out, it was agreed that the decision is final and that the penalty will be charged this time.
Okay, so in other words, you don't care about your customers. Okay, got it.
We do recognize that mistakes happen, deadlines are missed, bills can be left unpaid for some time. That's why we gave you a one-time exception. But for second occurrences, we would have to charge a penalty.
All right, I'm done with this. I gotta go.
Is there anything else that I can help you with today?
You haven't helped me at all, but thanks for nothing.
I wish I could have been of help. Thank you for calling Kwestyon. Have a great day.
All right, so as you heard, the customer wasn't really abusive. She's relatively more peaceful than the previous customer because the previous customer was cursing. But here she was just, well, she is rude, but you cannot hang up a phone because a customer is rude. There has to be profanities in it. And she just continued paraphrasing her message, which is, this is frustrating for you. We understand. But then we have already given you an exception. So our decision is final to not give you any more. That's what happened here, less the cursing. And then she said, don't you think that I deserve better than just a one-time exception? Like maybe one exception every 3 years that I'm with you? That'd be reasonable, don't you think? And then the agent said, I see your point. You've been with us for 10 years now. So this is a great empathy statement, the best you can come up with in this type of situation. You're acknowledging the customer's point. And then she told her a story that, I actually brought that up to the management when I saw that you've been with us for 10 years now and asked if there's something could be done. But then still, we cannot. This will not fully pacify her. She will still be unhappy when she hangs up with the phone, but it will not antagonize the customer, which is what you need to prioritize in the situation. At the very least, the situation did not escalate. The customer was not led to cursing because you're responding in a way that sticks to the policy, but still accommodates her feelings. And now the last scenario is it's the company's mistake and the customer needs to be pacified. The customer ordered an oven, but she received a cutting board and she thought it was a practical joke.
Bake his cake. It is now Monday, and I have no oven. But hey, I guess that's okay, right? Because I have a cutting board.
Amber, I truly understand how frustrating this is for you. I truly do. I do. I know that our shipping department tries to their best to keep the orders as accurate as possible, but on very rare occasions, this kind of mistake happens from time to time, and I am so sorry that this happened to you. Of course, this is not an excuse, and a mistake is a mistake. And right now, what I can do is to help you resolve this issue.
Well, they shouldn't have done that to me. It's for my son's birthday. And a cutting board for an oven? I mean, I can understand if you sent me an oven with the wrong model number, but a cutting board? Seriously? I don't know about you, but this smells like a practical joke to me.
I assure you, Amber, what happened was an honest mistake. We would never do that to our customers on purpose. Of course, you really should have received precisely what you ordered, and we failed on that. And for that, I am truly sorry. The best thing that I can do for you now is to make sure that this gets resolved as soon as possible.
Well, I don't really have a choice, do I? So get on with it.
Okay, so if I heard you right, your son's birthday is this coming Thursday, right?
Yes, that's right.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. Because you received the wrong item, I will request to have the correct item sent out to you within 24 business hours. As you noticed, she apologized, admitted to the mistake, but then proceeded to the resolution. This is what you need to do when the customer is obviously right. It's unmistakably the company's wrongdoing. Candace said, we would never do this to you. This was an honest mistake. But then that's an admission of mistake. She said, yeah, we apologize. We're sorry. And here's a resolution. Depending on how upset the customer is, you're going to have to, again, paraphrase it. Sorry, this is our mistake. Here's our resolution. Sorry, mistake, resolution. Until the customer cools down to make the resolution happen. Well, let me just give you more examples. I sincerely apologize for this disruption. This is definitely not what we want you to experience. Let me fix this for you as soon as I can. And then you explain the steps to the resolutions. You ask questions if needed. But the main purpose of this format is to just own up to the mistake so that the customer can get over her negative feelings and focus on reason, focus on the resolution. Another example, I'm sorry that you had to deal with this. Normally, prior to packaging, the shipping team checks and ensures that each order is accurate. There has been an error in your case. And I can only imagine how worried you are right now with the wedding date approaching fast. Here's what I can do for you. And then resolution. If you want to see this in action, I'm going to link it up here, this particular mock call, or if you want, check out my mock call playlist. So let me just summarize everything. And if you want to take the screenshot, go right ahead. This is your chance. All right, everyone, that's all for today. I hope you got something useful from this video. And if you have more questions, if you want me to create more scenarios, comment below and let me know. These are the scenarios that I can think of are the most common, but there could definitely be more. And if it's common enough for you, then I will create a video about it. All right. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.